Hey guys, my name is Little Miss Beats and today I want to share with you my self-promotion tips that got me from an audience of 0 to an audience of, well, I don't know what it is at the moment. I think it's over 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. Now I know my audience is small and that's the very reason I'm making this video, because I know that there are other musicians out there with a small audience, and a lot of these videos that you hear about self-promotion and stuff are all created by people with like millions of followers, and at that stage algorithms and other people and social validation is all working in their favor, and we don't have that at the moment. So I want to share these tips with you because I was in a position before I started Little Miss Beats where I thought it was so impossible to get people to listen to my music. I've been in the music industry for about a decade. I've been writing music professionally, so this video is not just intended for beginner beat makers but also for people with experience that are just struggling with the promotion side. And with that, I also want to mention, if your music sucks, then yeah, it's going to be really hard to get people to listen to it. So if that is you, maybe work on that before you watch this video. So let's rewind to the time that I did not have a Spotify account. The way that I was creating music and getting listeners was actually by writing music for adverts, for production companies, for music libraries, that kind of thing. So my music was never really my voice as an artist per se, it was really just a service that I was providing to other people. My voice as an artist was probably the most authentic in my classical contemporary music, which was performed around the world and got interesting press, and I was receiving commissions and so forth. But I realized that that whole niche wasn't really for me. And that's kind of interesting because that's the reason Little Miss Beats was born. I was in this world where I was doing something I loved, but yet I was really unhappy about it and I was really stressed and I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. So as many of you know, I started a beat challenge called Letting Go Beat Challenge, where I made music for 30 days, not on the weekends, so 6 weeks of 5 days. And the point was really for me to just have fun, and Little Miss Beats was born. Now after that beat challenge, I was like, okay. In fact, at that stage, I don't even think I had a name yet. I think I was just operating under my normal human name. But after that beat challenge, I realized I was really enjoying this and maybe I should just start something new. Literally let go of everything I had been working towards for the past 10 years. And with that, my first beat tape, Just Let Go, was born. Are we still recording? Yes? Now by that stage, I had already built up a little bit of an audience on my first YouTube channel where I was doing a lot of Ableton tutorials and just composition tips. And that was probably one of the hardest things to let go of, because even though 7,000 subscribers doesn't seem like a huge number, it was something that I was working towards for years, and giving that up was really painful. But the reason I did that is simple. I needed to niche down. If I was going to start a whole new artist project, I wanted to know that I am thinking it through carefully. And I think it's this thinking that helped me grow my audience a lot quicker the second time round. So when I decided to completely start something new and call it Little Miss Beats, I thought carefully about the kind of music I was making and what genre that fits in. And now the reason that is important is that if you are trying to get your music heard, it's going to be so much easier if you understand which people are looking for your kind of music. And people typically tell you, I like music of this genre or this genre. And so if you can already put yourself in a box like that, more on that later, then you can already start narrowing down on the audience that you want to try and gain. Now I know there's a big debate about genres and artists. Should I put myself in a box and my art defies all genres? And maybe it does. But from a marketing perspective, it's really helpful if you have some kind of box, because before you start promoting, you need to understand what you are promoting, who you are promoting it to, and why you are promoting it. So coming back to my story, I was really considerate about thinking, what am I promoting? And for me, at this stage it's two things, but we're only going to focus on one of them. That was my music, and my music specifically on Spotify. Now although my music is on a bunch of different streaming platforms, I am only looking at Spotify, simply because I am one human, I have a limited amount of time in the day, and I know from past experience if I try and do too many things at once, either they all get done really badly or they just don't get done at all, and ain't nobody got time for that because this girl ain't 10 anymore. That was a really weird thing to say. Anyway, so I already knew what I was promoting. I was promoting my music. Now, I kind of already answered who I was promoting it to, Although I only answered one part of that question. I was promoting it to people that use Spotify, sure, but that's very general. I was promoting it to people that enjoy lo-fi hip-hop music, maybe even lo-fi boom bap or instrumental beats. So having that kind of rough category had already helped me narrow down where I could find my audience. Because if you don't know who your audience is, it's going to be really hard to find where they are. Now, they certainly were not on my old YouTube channel, because when I sort of closed that down, and although it's still running, I'm pretty much just focusing on Little Miss Beats at the moment. I told people that I'm doing Little Miss Beats, and not that many people cared, nor did many people follow. There were a couple, maybe between 50 and 100, and for those I'm really grateful, and when they comment, I'm always like, yeah, I got my OG crew. So thank you. But basically, I knew that the audience that I was looking for was not the audience that I'd built up. I had to start from scratch. Now, it really helped that I was already a big fan of lo-fi music. I was constantly streaming it. I was listening to various artists. Although I didn't really know who was who. I would listen to those 24-hour playlists and not really, yeah. So I also had to kind of learn who are these artists, because these people are eventually going to be my family. In the past, I felt like we were all in competition all the time, and I had to be the best, and I had to prove myself, and I had to be better than everyone else to do that. Whereas now, that is not the case. Now I view the beatmaker community as a community, and I'm just so grateful when I'm part of it. And not just, oh, me being part of the community and what I can get, but also what I can give. And I know that it's said so often, but it needs to be a mindset shift. Randomly telling people, oh, look, I made this free thing, now you have to take it. This is me contributing. You can't force your giving onto people. You can't know how you are going to give. I have learned over time that one way that I can give is just by being encouraging, by sharing my daily struggles and my creative growth tips, things like that. These are ways that I give to the community, and I do it sincerely. I do it in a way that I actually hope will help the person. I'm not expecting anything in return. It'll be nice one day if it pays off, and I do believe it will. But for instance, now shooting this video, I'm not giving you tips because I have some ebook at the end of it that you have to buy to get like the real juicy the real juicy tips. I really do want to help, because again, like I said earlier, I had this struggle too. I was at that stage where I was on zero, and it was kind of like worse than zero, because I had built up something and then I just kind of like threw caution to the wind and started again, and that was hard and painful. But I knew that I had to make some fundamental changes. So we spoke about how niching down was really important, and that fundamental change helped me determine what I'm promoting and who am I promoting it to. But another huge thing, and this has been the hardest thing to answer, is the why. Why do I want to promote my music? Why am I even making music? Why do I want other people to listen to the music? And truth be told, in the past, I always wanted people to listen to my music because I needed the validation, and I was desperately trying to get people to like me or like my music or feel like I was special in some way. And I mean, this is quite a confession, but I think that's the story of a lot of people. We need recognition. I have two siblings that are very talented and smart, and so I think subconsciously I was always trying to live up to them, and obviously that's not possible. So I was just trying to find approval in like other places and by other people. But through this whole letting go beat challenge, I realized that if I'm doing something that I truly enjoy and I truly approve of, then I'm at peace. So my why had to change, because then I was thinking, all right, I am at peace. I don't really need approval. I mean, we all like approval, okay, but I don't need it. So why would I want my people to listen to my music, or my future people? And the simple truth is, I really like my music, and I really think that other people will like it too. And if there are people out there that enjoy these kinds of beats, I want them to hear it. How can you make a living off that, or how can you make money? Well, to be honest, my plan is not to make money off Little Miss Beats. I do Little Miss Beats out of my own enjoyment, because I enjoy beat making, I enjoy the community, and I just enjoy sharing my knowledge and my music. Now, I do still want to be in music full time, and so I started a shop called Little Beat Shop where I sell samples to lo-fi beat makers. That is my business plan. That has nothing to do with my streams. So once you have the what you're doing, music or whatever, the who your audience is and why you're doing it, it becomes so much easier to lock down a strategy. Now, when I started, my strategy wasn't that thought out, but I started with something that I thought would work, and that was to try and get on Spotify playlists. Now, to be honest, with my first album, I didn't even know about the Spotify editorial playlist submission system. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it, but I didn't even know that I could submit to that. So I was just trying to find people that curate playlists. I was trying to find the way that they want me to submit their music, so don't just blindly send everyone a DM and say, hey, listen to my beat. It might work, but you gotta put yourself in their shoes. They are probably gonna get lots of DMs, and they're probably gonna get a lot of music to listen to. And to be honest, I'm sure a lot of it is really crap. And if you really believe your song is not crap and you want it to stand above the crowd, then you're gonna put in a couple minutes of online stalking and find out how best to submit your music. For me, just trying to get on some kind of playlists was step one for me. Another thing is I'm very active on Instagram and I really enjoy being on Instagram. So I try to grow my audience there a little bit. Now that has proved to be very hard. I only recently hit over 1,000 followers on Instagram, and believe you me, I've been building that Instagram for like 7 years. But the first sort of 6 years was me floundering. I would post pictures of like a morning run, or like doing some yoga, or like throwing a smoothie on my face. I'm gonna try and drink this. Then I started an Instagram for my bird, which grew quite big quite quickly, but my baby bird died. And then once I was creating targeted content on my Instagram with a name change, with new hashtags to use, and with an understanding of who I'm talking to, my Instagram started growing. Some people started sharing my videos, and I've been able to form relationships on Instagram, which has probably been my most favorite thing about Instagram. Now on this point, I just want to mention something again. Randomly trying to build your Instagram is not the way to go. You need to understand why you want to build your Instagram. Again, so I would take this into consideration, and I was thinking, okay, I want to build my Instagram because I want to show people that I've got beats on Spotify. So on my little website link on Instagram, I would put my Spotify URL, and I was always very clear about what my message is. I understand it's hard to narrow down your message. Trust me, I was like, should I still promote my old YouTube channel? I want people to see that, you know, there's 7,000 followers or whatever. Or do I promote my work as a freelance musician? Or do I promote my shop? Or do I promote my advert music or my classical music? It was really hard, and I decided on this one thing, and that was my beats on Spotify. Now I did mention earlier, I have a slight split focus these days because I'm focused on Little Miss Beats and Little Beat Shop. And that already I feel like is one thing too many, but because they're very related, I think it's fine. You might not like Instagram, so for you, you might enjoy TikTok, or you might enjoy YouTube, or some other way that you can tell people about your music. You need to find a platform that you enjoy creating content for, and that the viewership of that platform or the user base, that they also enjoy the content you make, and you can use that as a way to signpost to your music. I've heard people say you need to be everywhere on each platform. There is some merit in that, but what we're talking about is promoting something specific and building an audience. Now, I believe it is better to focus on one platform that you think you can shine on and you can provide value on, than trying to be on all the different platforms. If your audience is at 0 or 100 or even 1,000, even 10,000, there are far more than 10,000 users on even Twitter. So even if you just focus on Twitter and do Twitter well, that's gonna grow your audience because there are so many unreached audience members at Twitter. Same for any other social media platform. So I highly suggest focus on one. Yeah. And yes, I do have this YouTube channel. Excuse me. And yes, I have this YouTube channel, which I post my music, but the point of this channel for me is really just about my music. I'm not trying to become a tutorial channel. I'm not trying to become any specific type of channel. This is just Little Miss Beats on YouTube. Now, another important thing is to be yourself. Now, I don't know if this is coming off on camera, but I'm pretty relaxed. I'm really happy talking to you. I'm uncomfortable or acting different to what I would be if you were literally in this room with me. I mean, maybe I'd like give you a hug or a fist bump or something. If I did that now, it'd be too much like PewDiePie, so I won't do that. You've got to be yourself. You might think, well, no one will love me. No one will like me. I'm not trying to be funny, like, for reals. You might think that your personality is dry or that you're too quirky. Trust me, I feel like I'm too quirky. I'm pretty sedated right now, but I'm not actually physically sedated. I mean, I'm acting quite sedate, but that's just because it's hella hot and the clothes need to stay on right now. But I'm usually shy to make YouTube videos because I talk a lot and I'm a little bit weird at times. And that's just how I am, and I've learned to accept that that's just how it is. And if you want to promote yourself, you're gonna have to accept it and learn to relax in the face of strangers. If you don't, your self-promotion is pretty much always going to be forced, and that might work if your strategy is super duper amazing. I don't know, but that's just not what I've been doing, so I can't really comment on that. So to summarize, if you want to grow your music following fairly quickly, it's really important to understand what you are promoting, who you are promoting it to, and why you're promoting it. And if you understand what you're promoting it, and if there is an existing box that it falls into, that might give you a clue as to where to find the audience that would be interested in your thing. So lo-fi hip-hop music, well, where do lo-fi hip-hop music lovers go? Go there. They might be on Reddit, they might be on Instagram, they might be on Bandcamp, they might be on specific blogs, they are probably following some kind of music curators, that kind of thing. And then the why. The why is really the fuel that'll keep you going, that'll keep you promoting, and that'll just be the passion that's driving you through all of this, because this is a lot of work. I don't think there's a substitute for creating good music and for building real relationships. And all this other promotion stuff is all centered about either building relationships with humans that might enjoy your product, or, as weird as it sounds, building your relationship with robots that might understand where to put your music. So for instance, building a relationship with the YouTube algorithm or the Instagram algorithm. Now, I can't talk too much about the algorithms because I don't really know much about them. Your best strategy is to focus on both. So learn a little bit about these algorithms, learn about SEO, understand what people are looking for and how you can position yourself in front of them. And then of course, build relationships with people. Not just, oh, this is some Spotify playlist curator, let me suck up to them and maybe they'll play my beat. That's not how it works, because you have to put yourself in their shoes and they want to have a good playlist with good music. And if your music just doesn't fit to it, false. But you can't take that as this personal rejection. One thing that I will say about submitting to playlists is that I usually listen to the playlist first before I submit to it. Now, I won't listen to the whole playlist because sometimes there's like 1,000 songs on, and those are probably not the best ones to submit to because your track's going to be played so little because there's so many songs to get through. Maybe something with like 100 tracks is better, but I usually listen to a couple songs just to get the vibe of the playlist and to be realistic with myself. Do I think this track is actually going to suit the playlist? If yes, submit it. If not, don't waste the curator's time, because in so doing, I'm hoping that I'm also building trust with the Spotify playlist curators that I'm in contact with, that they understand when I send them a beat, it's because I actually think it will fit on their playlist, and I've pretty much done a lot of the work for them. All they need to do is pretty much just double check if they thought my assessment was correct, and hopefully if it's been correct in the past, they will trust me that it's correct in the future. And I don't know if that's how it works, but that's what I've been doing. Anyway, I hope there's enough tips in this video. I have no idea what this audio is going to be like. In terms of the direction of this channel, I don't know. I just made this video because someone on Instagram recommended it. So if you want to see me like more often, I suggest you find me on Instagram, send me some love, leave a comment, smash the like. This all helps me get discovered, which helps people understand that I've got beats on Spotify, and we're all just trying to get our beats on Spotify. Good luck, let me know how it goes, and if you have any other tips, I would love to hear, because I'm also a small beat maker that is still trying to grow my following. Okay, bye!